You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International. The Private Officer Beat radio show is about to begin. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Private Officer Beat Radio, a production of Blue Ram Media Group, LLC, and Private Officer International. And today, of course, is Monday morning, the 22nd day of July 2024. And depending on where you live here in the U.S., and if you're a parent, you're probably rejoicing just about now, because believe it or not, in many communities, it's back to school. I recently, just in the last few days, saw the target start date for a number of school systems in several states in the southeast. I'm not sure what they are like in your area, but in the south and the eastern part of the United States, schools are going back as early as August the 10th. And between August the 10th and the 20th, many school systems are back in session. In fact, this past weekend, some states had no taxes for back-to-school items, clothing, computers, and things of that nature, paper goods, pens, all of those supplies that many students have to buy these days. It seems like every year, not only does time go by faster and faster, but it seems like things move up on the calendar and they start earlier. And they get out of school earlier, of course, because they start so early in the school system year. And that's just the way things are. There's been a lot of adjustments and a lot of changes over the years in life, in school, and probably everything that we are familiar with here on this earth below. Last week I told you that we're not a political radio show, and I seldom talk about politics. Of course, on my last radio show I did tell you about the Donald Trump shooting and the fact that there was other components in the security area, including contract, private security, event security that was doing all the checking in, the packages, purses, and things of that nature. But this week, again, there's another big political topic in the news, and that is that President Joe Biden has stepped aside and will not run for the 2024 presidential election, and that he has put his support behind the vice president. We're not going to get into it any further than that, but to tell you that we're probably going to see a lot more controversy now than ever in the races. Private security has been used for many years to guard polling places, whether that be libraries, schools, places, wherever that might be, where they vote. And as we've seen over the last 8 years, security has been used even more so for this type of event, as well as public meetings at government centers, even at school board meetings and so forth. And I predict that this will continue as more and more places are requiring both unarmed and armed security for protection and to escort the troublemakers out. But unfortunately, with the lack of law enforcement, it may be a situation where security is put into a situation, a place where they're not able to handle what takes place, especially when multiple people protest, multiple people refuse to leave, multiple people engage in disorderly conduct. And I believe that this time around, the polling places that hire private security will probably see an increase of these type of situations. It is illegal in every state to have any political party handing out literature within so many feet of the polling space. Nobody is supposed to be doing anything political to sway the voters one way or the other. And I'm sure that private security, once again, will be called in to patrol these polling stations, to patrol the outdoor area, the exterior, as well as the indoor, and probably have many more confrontational situations than in previous years. When I come back today, I want to talk mainly about changes and how we have to assess our life, our goals throughout life. And today, I'll talk about adjustments and endeavors, changes to my personal life, and as well as the businesses that I own, including Private Officer International. I alluded a little bit last week on that topic, and I just want to follow up this week as to, well, things that you can expect, things that are coming down the pike sooner than later. Change. We have to have changes, and it's for the best. We can't be stagnant, and many people unfortunately are. Many businesses are stagnant, and laws continue to be stagnant and unchanged, even though the times call for it. You're listening to the voice of the Frontline Protector here on the Private Officer Beat Radio, and we will, of course, be right back. At Armor College, a public safety institute, we train those who help others. Paramedics and emergency medical technicians, firefighters, police officers, law enforcement, private security, bail enforcement, and those on the front line. Check us out today at armorcollege.org. ARMOUR college.org. We'll even bring the school to you. Armor College, a public safety institute. You're listening to the Private Officer Beat Radio Show, broadcasting live from the Blue Ram Media Studios. This is the 711th radio show of the Private Officer Beat Radio program that we have done over the years. 711. I mention this today because there's not a whole lot of things that you see or hear or know about these days that have the consistency and the durability and continue on week after week, month after month, year after year. And for us to have 711 radio shows, that's just outstanding. And I think whether you're on the national TV stations or you're a syndicated radio show, well, I got to tell you, it's an accomplishment. Many, many, many TV shows and radio shows that are produced on the national global level, they celebrate 100 shows. They celebrate 200 shows. But when they get to the 300 mark, that is quite the accomplishment. And I will tell you that we're very proud here at Private Officer International. I am very proud here at Private Officer International that we have crossed the 700th radio program, now the 711th radio program. And later in the show, I'll be talking about endeavors and adjustments and longevity and changes. One of those being my more popular radio show that I do twice a week, broadcasting live from our studio at Blue Ram Media. And we'll talk about that, but wow, 711 radio shows. I have to be frank with you. Some weeks we have a big listenership, and other weeks we go down. We fluctuate, like most radio shows. I've talked to people in professional radio programming and DJs. It's an up and down business. It's like Walmart. Walmart is slammed today. They've got customers coming out of every place. And then tomorrow it's slow, almost like if it was a national holiday and the store was closed. It's just how business goes. And all of my businesses, and probably yours as well, have experienced the same thing. So we've accomplished a lot. We've had tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people who have listened to the program. And we are making some adjustments to all of our businesses, and I'll be talking to you, frankly, about that coming up here shortly. In fact, on today's radio program, it's going to be shorter in length than most radio shows that are between 60 and 90 minutes. We'll probably be in and out of here within 30 to 40 minutes probably. And I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about this and that happening in the security industry, because I want to get directly to my own topic of what's happening and what you can expect, because I think it's very important to keep everyone engaged and involved, and we don't want people to second guess what's going on. There's a lot going on, and we try to keep people part of the knowing part. We want to make sure that everyone understands what's happening. I want to remind you that you can read our breaking news 24/7 at privateofficerbreakingnews.blogspot.com. Follow us on Facebook, social media at facebook.com/Private Officer International, and over on Twitter, where we're always tweeting out different news stories, twitter.com/Private Officer. You can also check out our Facebook page at Paradise Protectors. That is a real-time news and information dispatch from our office, where we dispatch out police and fire calls in the area real-time, almost 24 hours a day. I would say about 18 hours a day. And that is about to change, and we'll tell you about that as well when we come back here shortly. I'm also going to tell you what's happening in the news. We do have a few news stories that we want to get to, and so much more on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
Every day we take steps to keep the people we love safe, but some health risks are easy to miss. Ticks hiding in the yard can spread germs, like the ones that cause Lyme disease. Mice searching for food can spread bacteria that makes us sick. Mosquitoes lay eggs in standing water and can spread West Nile virus and more. Cockroaches are drawn to water in the home, leaving behind allergens that can trigger asthma attacks. Common pests can threaten our health. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org.
I heard about a shooting involving a 3-year-old girl over the summer. My daughter Riley is that age.
There was a point when I felt that I was going to die.
My parents used to always say a bullet doesn't have a name on it.
Someone put a bullet in the back of my 14-year-old son's head.
The gun should never be an option.
We're Americans. We don't have to live like this.
We can all make a difference.
In the United States, 88 people die of gun violence every day.
We can end gun violence.
In the news headlines this week, a Martinsville, Indiana security company owner is under arrest. Adam R. Anderson, 42, has pled not guilty to felony charges of having child pornography, and he's also under investigation for spying in the electronic security business that he also has. He's been accused of setting up cameras in customers' homes where he's watching them. pretty freaky, huh? Not the first time it's happened, but it's freaky anyways. Coming out of Seattle, Washington, security officer Brian Pollock was working at the city at a medical clinic for low income, and last week he was able to save a man's life. The man had an overdose of drugs and went into cardiac or respiratory arrest, and the security officer, Brian Pollock, was able to use Narcan that he carries to bring the man back to life. He used his training, he said, to save the life. It's something that his employer sent him to train and be certified, and also issues the Narcan. Brian said that he heard a voice outside of his office, and some people were gathering around, and his security manager, Dan Cromwell, says that he immediately recognized what was happening to the individual and got him into a position where he could administer Narcan and definitely saved his life. We'll be recognizing him with a life-saving award, and when we do, we'll bring that information to you. In Danville, Virginia, over the weekend, a security officer working at a party was shot along with two other people. A shooting at the 1500 block of Halifax Road in Danville. Police responded there. They said the 40-year-old security officer was shot in the leg. Two other people were also shot during the party. Police say that they are currently investigating. They don't have a lot of information just yet. A Tacoma school security officer was patrolling in a marked patrol car on the school property when a man pulled up behind him, got out, and began to randomly shoot into the marked patrol car. Now, the security officer was injured, but they don't know what prompted the man to do this, and police don't have him in custody, but they say that they are investigating. In San Leonardo, California, a security officer shot at a dog during a shoplifting incident at the Target store. Again, this was in San Leandro, California. They say that the dog was about to attack the security officer. He was a pit bull, and that's why he shot at him. The suspect fled. Police are still investigating that situation. In Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a security officer there shot at a man who was driving toward him in the 2200 block of West Madison. Police said a couple of security officers were trying to clear a business when suddenly a man who had been involved in the fight drove toward him and then crashed into a building. The security officer did receive some injuries, but it was not specific. Another person has been arrested in the assault of a store security officer. This one happened in Baltimore, Maryland. Police there was called to the 4600 block of Liberty Heights. This was a shoplifting at a business. The security officer was trying to detain the suspect when he assaulted the security officer. The man was taken into custody and has been booked in to the jail, and he's facing a number of charges. Police have referred criminal charges in the death of a black man pinned down to the floor at a Milwaukee hotel. Police there say the man did die in that situation, and they've let the district attorney decide whether or not charges would be filed. A Kansas City, Missouri hospital security officer was able to subdue a man with a gun who had fired off a round. Nobody was seriously injured in that situation. Remember, you can report news anytime, day or night, to helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Send it to us at privateofficer.com, and we will be glad to include that in our news blog. We have a lot to talk about here in the next couple of minutes. I'm going to be talking about changes, adjustments, how things can't change the same. Coming back in just a moment here on the Private Officer Beat Radio.
There was the explosion, and I remember just opening my eyes, and it got both of my legs. I had surgery after surgery, and what's going to happen next? The Wounded Warrior Project said, look, brother, everything's going to be okay. 3 months from now, 4 months from now, a year from now, you'll be fine. I don't know if I would be as well adjusted as I am now if it wasn't for them.
To learn more, call 1-877-832-6997 or visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
Nurse, I need you to apply pressure to the head wound until I can get to it. I'm concerned she's lost too much blood.
Oh, no.
You in the corner, who are you? You're not supposed to be here.
She's my girlfriend, Doctor.
You need to wait out in the waiting room.
Please, Doctor, I want to stay with her.
Look, she's been badly injured. So if you want to do what's best for her, you need to let us do our work.
Please, Doctor, she has to be okay. I didn't mean to do this. I love her.
Wait a second. You were the driver?
Yes, but I didn't mean to. I swear, we went to dinner. I was just buzzed. I only had a few drinks.
Just buzzed? Why didn't you tell us that? In that case, your girlfriend is fine.
Hey, sweetie. I feel great. You want to get out of here?
I can't believe this. Really, Doctor? She's really okay?
What, are you kidding? No, not really. Nurse, get me a suture kit. Stat.
Buzzed driving. Maybe we should stop acting like it's no big deal. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. A public service announcement brought to you by the U.S. Department of Transportation, the Ad Council, and this state.
Hey, this is Rick McCann behind the microphone at Private Officer Beat Radio, and we're broadcasting live from the Blue Ram Media studio. And we're talking today about adjustments and endeavors, the changes that must come in time. Private Officer International has been around for 20 plus years, and we're not going anyplace, but we are going to make some adjustments. And with staffing and issues and with revenue issues, you're seeing more and more companies downsizing and doing with less staffing, less fancy business equipment, fancy offices, and people are making those adjustments. I've analyzed for ourselves for more than a year as to what I need to do to be leaner but still be meaner. Provide the service level with less people, and to adjust the thinking of what we're trying to accomplish. For many years, I thought we were going to have, hundreds of thousands of POI members. We've had tens of thousands, but that's not the reality because I can't market fast enough. I can't force people to become members, but Private Officer International and all of the services that we provide will continue, and we have some other new avenues that we've discovered and we're getting into to help us to continue to grow the organization POI and to do it a little bit leaner than we have. And unfortunately, the news is one of those areas we've had to cut back on because we don't have the staffing. It took over 100 plus hours every week to curate, research. I mean, it kind of hurts me because this is one of my favorite areas was news. Curate the news, write some of the news, verify the news, a lot of legwork, a lot of time and effort, over 100 hours a week. No one could believe that. And when we changed to a subscription model, people didn't want to pay for it, very few people. And unfortunately, without that support, I can't take the money out of our pocket that's not coming into the business. It's just like security company owners cannot train security officers any more than they have to by regulatory law, because it comes out of their bottom line. It comes out of their profit. It comes out of, and if they're not making a whole lot of profit, then they don't have the money to do all that extra training. So unless it's mandatory, they're not going to. Same thing with POI in any business. We have to look at how much money are we spending and where's that money coming from, or where will that money come in from. Usually with news, papers, magazines, things of that nature, they make most of the revenue through marketing and advertising, ads that come in. We've had some of those, but in recent years, those have slacked off as well. I'd love for you to call or email us and say we'd like to advertise our business, because we have an all-inclusive marketing plan for businesses. It includes all of our social media, our websites, our newsletters, our blogs, all for one low, low price. Contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com. I'd love to have people support us. A lot of companies work off from donations, people supporting them on a monthly donation basis. We need you to do that. Contact helpdesk at privateofficer.com or go to our website at privateofficer.org and click on the Officer Down page, and you can donate. You can specifically specify where you want that money to go, because we need that support. The end-all and be-all of this topic is that Private Officer International will continue to exist in some format, probably much like we are now, but just offering less benefits or fewer amenities that we would normally offer free. But we'll continue to look at this and operate accordingly. In all of my other businesses, one of the things that we're doing is we've always done a lot of media stuff, whether that be through newsletters or the blog or our digital magazine. But what we're going to do is we did establish a media company a few years back. Blue Ram Media is a corporation, and we have begun doing digital news reporting right now in the Gulf Coast area, and we're going to expand that to a few other areas, and that's supported through both subscription as well as advertisement. So we're going to continue to build that business. We're going to continue to build our digital platforms as well as our real-time crime centers. In fact, I have people right now putting together our brand new franchise for the real-time crime center so that people can franchise it and have a very good, well-established business. We put it together. We do most of the work. And if you're interested, contact us at helpdesk at privateofficer.com, and then they will relay that to the people in charge at the Real-Time Crime Center Corporation. And we're going to continue to look at technology, just like law enforcement has. We're going to use drones. We're going to put an arm of services into our security company where we will respond to all activations of alarms, to all sightings. In the real-time crime center, they're watching surveillance cameras of our clients, and so if they were to see somebody at 2 in the morning, let's say at a car dealership, our armed patrol officers will be responding there in real time, being updated by our crime center dispatchers. I know it sounds like a lot. It sounds different than what many companies do, but that is where the security industry is going. And I don't think, like I said a few moments ago, that the good old way of doing business, the static security, the unarmed security, is going to do it anymore. And I think the use of drones and robots, electronic security, surveillance, things of that nature is really, it's not for tomorrow, it's actually here for today. And I would love to talk to you more, if you're a security company owner, about the Real-Time Crime Center, about alarm dispatch and response, about armed security, and how you can turn around the profitability of your static security company just by making a few adjustments in changing out on the static guard work per se, and make it more of a patrol and a response using the Real-Time Crime Center, helpdesk at privateofficer.com. Here at our companies, we're going to, as I mentioned last week, we're going to combine our administrative services all under one roof. We're going to be leaner but meaner and stronger, and I think that in the end it's going to prove to be the right decision. And I think that if you'll look at your operation, if you'll look at Allied, Universal, if you'll look at all of these security companies who have been around for many, many years, they're beginning to see they're beginning to get that bigger picture, and they're using drones. They're using electronic security cameras. They're using technology, but not at the rate that I think that they need to. But I think that it won't be long that more and more companies will lean heavily on technology. I would love to partner with your security company and show you how to maybe not 100% change over your way of thinking from static physical security to doing what we're doing. But I think if you'll give me the opportunity to talk with you, I think that I can open your eyes a little bit and show you the advantages of technology and the use of the real-time crime center, and partner with me. I'll be glad to partner with you. Me and my staff will be glad to partner with you and help you to develop your own real-time crime center and alarm response and arm response business. Helpdesk@privateofficer.com. Well, thanks for being with us here on the Private Officer Beat Radio today. You all be safe, be blessed, and hopefully you'll contact us, helpdesk@privateofficer.com. And in the meantime, we'll see you back on the radio.